Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Future Dimensions 360. As you guys know, in our last tutorial, we had talked about event binding. In our current tutorial, we will be talking about method as a props. As you guys know, before I had teach you already how you can pass variables as a props. Today we will learn how you can pass method as a props and why it is sometimes useful to pass methods as a props. So let me go ahead into my components folder and try to create a new file called parent.js. In the parent.js, I'll create a class component by using RCE React snippet and my parent class is ready. For better understanding, what I will do is I will go ahead and try to create our const, the constructor for the class, and inside it I will say the for example I will keep some name. For example, I will say the name is parent. Okay. Another one I'll create is my method that I have to pass to child as a props. So I'll say method and the name I will just pass round bracket and then curly braces. Inside curly braces I'll say alert, and inside alert, for example, I'll say this dot state dot name. For example, I want to say greet parent. For example, I'll say greet and then parent. Very nice, very easy like this. Normally people they are using the concatenation, but in ES6 you can use template literals also to do this thing. Let me show you how you can use template literals. So there is a way to use template literals is like you can create two literals inside it. You can create push your string, or you can write your string $, curly braces and closing tag of curly braces. So this is your method. So I want to call this method from the child component. First of all, this is not an arrow function. We have to bind this method. I can say this dot method equals to this dot method dot bind, and let me pass this context inside it. So I'm gonna call this method from child component. First, let me go ahead and try to create my child component, new file called child.js. For example, child.js. By using RFC React snippet, I can create a normal functional component, and inside it I'll say button, and button will say greet. So once I'll click this button, it should call this method. This is what our current scenario is. So let me go ahead first and try to import this child component into my parent component. I had imported it. Okay, so now I had imported my child component. Let me import my parent component in my app component as well by using parent component keyword, and I'll move forward to my React application, and you can see this is my normal behavior for my UI in my browser. So once I am moving forward and going to click on greet, it should show me an alert where I am receiving a message hello parent or greet parent. Okay, so this method is defined where for greeting of parent is in the parent component. I want to call this one from the child component. So let me call this method equals to, I'll say this dot method. This is the way to pass your method as a props to child. In the child you will receive, you can say like props directly, or you can use curly braces, and inside it you can write method as well. Up to you. As I told you the ways how you can receive props or destructor props. Here I can say on click inside the click event, I can say props dot method. Okay, so we are calling this method here props dot method. Let me go ahead and try to run and hit it, and let's see what it will. So you can see greet parent is working very fine. So this function is defined in my parent component. I had defined the method in my parent component, and I am calling that method in the child component. This is very normal way to call the parent as child component. So if I want to get rid of this props name, I can just bind the, or I can just wrap the method with curly braces to destructor the props. Let me go ahead and try it out so you can see it is working. So this is the normal way. If I want to call this method with some variable, for example, I want to take here like child name, and here I want to say from, and this one is this dot child name. So you guys can see this child name should be passed from where, sorry, not child, this dot child name, directly child name, because this is should be with the class properties. This is just a parameter of the method, not a class property. So here we should convert it to arrow function for passing the props. It's very easy to convert it into arrow function by using round brackets and arrow sign. You can convert this method as a props, or I can say here I can say just child. Okay, so now the message will appear greet and then parent from, and then there the message is coming from the child, it's child. Let me go ahead and check if it's appearing or no. As you guys see, Greek parent from child is appearing very nicely, very normally. So this is the way in which you can pass the function reference as a props from parent to child. And in the child, you can use this function very normally. You can call it by using the reference. For example, I will create another component. I will say child 2, okay, dot js. So for example, I will call the same function here, and I'll say child 2. Okay, so let me go ahead into my parent and try to create this child 2 as well, import this child 2 as well, and inside this child 2 I'll pass the same method as well. Okay, so here inside the child 2 I am passing the different child 2. For example, I'll say child 2 greet from child 2. So let me go ahead and show you what it will appear in the for example, if you will click from the first children greet, once you click parent, greet parent from child is appearing. From second, once you click it, it's appearing greet parent from child 2. So this is actually called dynamic way to handle your functions. This is the way in which you can set a lot of values from your child component to the parent attributes or states as well. We will be learning all those in detail later on as well. For today's tutorial, I hope that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you guys like it. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our channel. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.